Hello, my name is Tyler Mullen, and today I will be giving a speech regarding the pay-as-you-want method. Um, now, I know many of people. I know many of us are here today because we're here to look for new suggestions and new directions to take the company. Because as unfortunate as it is, we've been struggling with it lately, and we've been kind of falling behind the times in regards to our new competition. And this notion may not be one a lot of people may like to hear, but a lot of it because we are considered to be overcharged. There's just one theory that suggests we may be overcharging our customers by charging them at all. Now, the pay-as-you-want theory is based around several principles. It is based around the concept of using internet sales as a way to as a way for to distribute products that are initially free, but the customer can contribute in any amount they like over time. Not over time. At a certain time, and and it's based on the idea that they will do this because people contribute towards things they believe in and things that they think will be successful. Now, for this, I'm going to go into a few things. I'm going to be going into why it's important for us to switch to a pay-as-we-use method. I'm going to be discussing some examples of businesses that have used the pay-as-you-want method, and I'm going to talk about how we can cut costs by using it. Now, there's a lot of reasons to go into it. First, well, there's first there's a lot of it really the first reason is that this may seem is just because, well, a lot of other companies are doing it. This is sort of regarded as a way of the future, and releasing antivirus software in stores is kind of regarded as a way of the past in many ways. Some examples of antivirus softwares that use the pay-as-you-want method include AVG and Bit Destroyer, and both of those have been doing very well lately, relying simply on donations from from customers. It also can function as a way to charge. It also is a way to charge them initially for free, and then to offer premium options later. And that's something I'll be getting into with a lot of additional ways to generate revenue later. So as I was saying, successful businesses that have been that have taken in these from the first of all, I just want to talk about this company called Spring Release, which is based out of Brazil. What it is it's basically a book vending machine, for the lack of a better word, where people can contribute up to a minimum of 2 Brazilian notes, and they can receive a book out of a vending machine. and but they can contribute more if they would like, if they feel they are very happy with the company. And there have actually been tons of people doing so. Not all, certainly not, but there definitely have been enough. And this is now the reason this hasn't been as successful as I think our company would be is because it's based around physical copies, and that quite isn't there yet. So let's look at something else. Now, this is from now this infograph comes from a site called TechDirt, which is discussing their the sales of two of their ebooks, and as you can see from the infograph, around half of the they had been charging around $5 per copy of the book. Then they had been charging, and it's around 50% of the people ended up paying for those. And as we can see to the right of the graph, there were there was they charged about an average of $5 for each one, which is what their books had costed standard, and this had been. But what's notable about this is there were actually people who contributed a lot more than this, and there were some people who had contributed as much as $20 to this. And the third one over here, this is a cover art for Radiohead's album In Rainbows. I include this on here not only because it's a great album, but because it is another example of the pay-as-you-want method. This, now, like their previous albums, it was originally announced to be in stores, but a mere 10 days before that, it was announced that it would actually go under a 2-month pay-as-you-want period, and this created a just absolutely massive amount of hype for the product. And it was just unbelievably successful. It had in that 2-month period, it ended up selling more copies in 2 weeks than the rest of their previous album had ever. It also resulted in much more critical acclaim for this, resulting in 5 Grammy nominations that year, when they had previously only been nominated for up to 2, I believe, was at most next year. And it also, not to mention that with all the praise they received for doing this, they ended up also receiving a lot more copies to once the physical copy was released in stores. Now, there's also with all this in mind, can it work for us? And the answer is absolutely. 2 main ways to that. First of all, the pay-as-you-want method, by switching to a downloading our products off the internet instead of buying them in store, cuts down a lot of our costs because we don't have to ship it out to the store, and then they don't raise their prices so they can make a profit off of it. So it saves us a lot more, and it's sort of switching to this idea where profits are based off of how many people buy a product rather than the difference between how much it sells for and how much it costs, because when you put it simply on the internet for people to download, the cost to manufacture goes down so significantly that it pretty much all comes down to how many people buy it. And there's also a lot of other ways, like as I mentioned before earlier in the slide. one of the things that is common is to put it on there for free and offer premium options later. Another is to put ads on there, which in our main interface, which is very common with free antivirus software. And there's also other things like if we release it for free, people won't need to torrent it, which means we don't have to worry about people pirating our software, and that saves us a lot of money and relief. And we also don't. And it also functions as a way of feedback for when we release updates for downloads. And if people contribute higher amounts of money, it shows that we're doing a good job. I will not take any questions.